Do you ever wonder if what you're paying employees for bonuses is enough or maybe too much? And have you ever had the experience where you're given bonuses to employees, but you feel like they don't really appreciate it or don't feel like they have any acknowledgement for the contribution that you've made to them? Or maybe you're just simply curious, what do other contractors do in terms of paying out bonuses to employees? Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about all those things. Hi, I'm Vicki Suter with Suter Business Builders. And for over 25 years, I've been helping contractors build more profitable businesses, find more time in their day, and reclaim the joy and fun in what they do again. And a large part of that is around teams and building great teams in their businesses. And, in working with contractors, I've seen this issue happen a lot where you end up giving bonuses to employees and they're not very happy about it. I remember years ago, my client Dean saying to me, you know what, it's super frustrating when I give bonuses at the end of the year because I feel like my employees don't appreciate it at all. I feel like they just expect it. I feel like they don't have any acknowledgement for the contribution that I'm making to them. And he was really resentful. And when we started talking about it, and I started asking him a little bit more about his process around how he gives bonuses, it became very evident to me very quickly what a couple of the issues were and why he was having that experience with employees. So one of the things that when I look at employee bonuses, and we're going to talk a little bit today about what are some potential ways that you can bonus employees, but I look at giving bonuses as a two-step process. And the first part is identifying, like, what's my intention? What's my goal in giving bonuses? Like, why am I doing it? And is it simply that you feel like it's an obligation and something that you have to do because it's a competitive industry, you're afraid of losing employees, and you go, I've got to give bonuses because that's what I'm supposed to do in order to retain employees? Or do you give bonuses because it's an opportunity to acknowledge people and to have people feel appreciated for the contribution that they're making? I will say that if your intention is the first one, which is when I started talking to Dean a little bit deeper and looking into what the issue was, for him, it was sort of like, well, he felt it was something that he had to do. And so I invited him to really shift how he was thinking about it. And I said, well, what if you really looked at it like it was an opportunity for you to acknowledge employees and acknowledge the contribution that they make? And he said, well, I do appreciate them. I do acknowledge them. And I said, well, I think there's something that you can do that I've seen works really well in terms of having employees feel very acknowledged and appreciated when you give them bonuses, and having it have more impact and having people be more grateful and appreciative. But before I jump into that, there's the first piece, which is, hey, how do you want to give bonuses, right? There's lots of different ways that you can do that. So let's talk about what some of those ways are. And what I'm going to share with you are, these are things that I've seen clients do over the years that work really well. Your ability to give bonuses is going to depend on your company, right? Like the size that you are, the profitability, so on and so forth. So it could vary differently, but I will tell you, I'm going to share these ideas with you, but there's a second piece of giving bonuses that I will say, no matter how you give bonuses in terms of how much or what the amount is or what it looks like, the structure, there's a piece that you can add to how you deliver bonuses that can make all the difference in the world in terms of your employees feeling acknowledged and appreciated. But I'm going to talk about the first piece first. So let's talk about some ideas. So I have some clients who, and I'm going to go sort of from the smallest to the biggest, right? So if you don't have a lot of profits, if you are, it's a lean year, you don't have very much. I've seen where employers will give employees gift cards, right? Thinking back to my one client, painting contractor, they were giving out gift cards, but then they also did like a big luncheon where they would bring in or cook a bunch of food for the team, and they would have like a team luncheon, and they would talk about things that went well that year and what they really appreciated and acknowledged the team for that year. That was a huge success. And then moving from there, some other things that you can do are taking like a pool of money and looking at, all right, if I have $10,000 and I'm going to do bonuses for the year. That sometimes I'll see people where they'll take that $10,000 and then they'll look at like all their employees and wages, and they'll weight their bonuses based on, I'm going to pay this chunk of money out and I'm going to weight it based on people's salaries and whatever percentage they have of the whole. That's another way to do it. Another way that I've seen it happen where people will pay bonuses on a flat amount by position. So the same company that when they shifted from the gift cards to, in the party, they kept the party part, but then they started to do bonuses based on flat amount by position. And then and if you're a bigger company, you can afford to do this. The other thing I've seen has worked really well is paying employees like a certain amount of bonus, but then giving them the week between Christmas and New Year's off paid. They get that whole week off, and that's part of their bonus program that they make. And then you could do a combination of all those things, right? Like I know some people who will do bonuses in that week off, some people who will do gift cards in the week off, or what have you. I've seen all of those be very effective, and it's obviously dependent on how much you can afford in your business and the size of your company. Now, once you've decided what you're going to pay and how you're going to give bonuses, this is the second critical piece. So when my client Dean, when we were talking about like shifting his perspective about paying bonuses and how much he was doing it, one of the key things that we did is I said, I highly recommend, and I've seen this work really well, is that you include with that check or that gift card a personal note to that person that says, here's why, what I really appreciate about you. Here's what I really want to acknowledge you for. And if you even if you do it in person, all the better. But if you're, just going to be handing out checks, I highly encourage you to do this. I have seen companies completely transform their experience of giving bonuses and their employees' experience of giving bonuses because they added this one extra step. It's so critical. Because fundamentally, as human beings, we all have the desire to have a sense of contribution, value, and belonging. And when you can ground your acknowledgement of somebody with a specific example of what you really appreciate about them, it can really make a big difference in how they hear and see that acknowledgement. Either do it in person or put it in the note with the check or the gift card or whatever, however you're presenting the bonuses to your employees. It can make a huge difference in terms of the effectiveness of that communication being heard. When Dean started doing that with his employees, it completely transformed his experience of giving bonuses to his employees and has forever changed how he approaches and thinks about that process in his business. So I hope that you found this to be helpful. If you have other ideas about how you do bonuses with employees, drop a note below. Let us know, share your ideas. Always looking for new ideas and thoughts about this topic. Thanks for being here today and watching, and we'll see you next time on The Profit Builder.